Every new animator practices animating a bouncing ball. Not because the result is particularly thrilling or sexy, but because there are so many important lessons packed into that one exercise. I'm sure you've heard the saying practice makes perfect, but obviously it matters what and how you practice. For example, if you sketch cartoon characters all day, you can make some pretty good cartoon characters, but that's not going to help you draw a realistic human body. Now, if you do some figure studies and you go to school and just learn how to draw a very realistic human body, that can actually make you better cartoon characters. So not all practices are the same, and some just have way more payoff than others. When it comes to 3D modeling, though, what are some things that we can practice in order to become better in a wide variety of areas and much faster? I'm Jonathan Lampel with cgcookie.com, and today we're going to look at 3 exercises that we can do to become better modelers. The last video we looked at the 6 key principles of 3D modeling, so these are going to be things that help you apply all of those in a practical way. Let's get started. The first challenging object that I'd like you to try modeling is a bicycle. Now this can be as simple or as complex as you'd like. In fact, I'd encourage you to start out extremely simple, no matter what your skill level is, and then just take each piece one step farther in detail than you're used to. Now, here's why a bike is a really good modeling challenge. One of the things beginners struggle with the most is proportions, and we talked about this a little bit in the last video. But a bike, in order for it to look good and work well, needs to match human proportions because, the pedals need to be the right distance from the seat in order for the legs to reach it right. The handlebars need to be the right distance in order to actually grab them. Like, if these things are just a bit off all the way around the bike, then it's not going to look very usable, and something just won't feel right whenever you look at it. So take the time to get some reference and just make this bike out of basic shapes first, and get the proportions right and their scales in relation to each other. Now, if you have your own bike, I'd highly encourage you to take your own measurements and then use those, stick those into Blender for the different sizes of your objects, and go from there. Now, this doesn't take any complex modeling at all. All it is just moving and scaling basic shapes and primitives, but it's often the most overlooked part of modeling. And if you get this right, then your result will look good no matter how much detail you add to it. But if you get this wrong, it's going to be very hard to change later once you start adding more detail, because then you're going to be kind of married to the idea and the things that you've already made. But once you have your base shapes down, a bike is also just a really good modeling problem-solving practice because there are so many individual pieces. But each of those individual pieces are in and of themselves not that challenging. Of course, the frame can be mostly made from adjustments to cylinders that are fused together or just stuck right through each other even. But you'll need to find a way to make more complex things like gears, spokes, and tire treads. But even these objects are less complex than they appear at first. Once you find the underlying form, model the most base shape and use modifiers to repeat it until you get the result you're after. In this way, you'll be practicing reuse quite a lot, and you'll be learning new techniques as you go. You may not already know how to model a circular gear, but you can easily find what it looks like online, start with a circle, and just kind of go from there. Find ways to add spikes or add holes in the middle of the circle, and eventually you'll find your way to it, even without any tutorials. In fact, doing it without a tutorial is going to help you learn multiple ways of doing things so that you can find the best way that works for you. Now, at some point in the process, you're going to find an area that's just darn challenging, and you'll know what it should look like, but you just can't seem to get there. And this is where you need to take a step back and just take a break and then come back and continue to problem solve it. Now, you might not want to work on it because it's challenging or you don't know how to do it, or maybe because it's just plain boring and the result maybe isn't as exciting as you were hoping for. But by just taking that step back and then coming back through it with fresh eyes and problem solving your way through these different tough spots, that's what's going to make you a better modeler. Another great beginner project is a simple kitchen or other interior space. Now, when I first started out modeling, I would often make one object or a few objects at a time, but it took me quite a while before I worked up the confidence to build up an entire scene to render out. If that sounds like you, a kitchen could be a perfect next step. Because there's lots of objects in a kitchen, but each one is fairly simple, but they all take different types of problem solving. So you've got bowls and cups, but you've also got mugs and toasters and refrigerators and counters and cabinets and all this different stuff that each is like slightly different. So you'll be solving like 30 or 40 mini exercises that all add up to one really cool result. There's also lots of opportunity for instancing, so you can make a few objects, but still make the scene seem really full. While the majority of these objects are going to be pretty simple, like a plate's not that hard, there's still going to be a couple complex objects like maybe a toaster or a refrigerator or a rolled up napkin, that's going to take you outside of your comfort zone. Now, even if you're a pretty advanced modeler and you know how to make most things, there are still subtle details in things like a coffee maker that can really make you think. Proportions are a top priority here, just like with everything else. Getting a kitchen to look right depends less on making really detailed objects and more on making simple objects that are the right size, thickness, and space apart from each other. Along with thinking about how big each object is in relation to a person, you'll also need to use your creativity to think about how the person living there uniquely uses the space. And this is a chance to build your own personality into your render. Do you like your coffee brewed in a particular way, or maybe you cook all of your food in a microwave? Whatever your personal quirks are, build those into the render. That not only makes it more fun of a project as you're making it, because you can totally make it your own, but it's also a chance just to get a more meaningful result. Fueling your creative work with your own personal experiences is something that you're going to want to carry over into all of your projects, modeling or otherwise. Now, since you'll have built up quite a few objects by the end of this project, it's a perfect time to practice scene organization. I know, it doesn't sound thrilling, but without naming things, parenting, or making collections of similar items, it'll become really hard to manage and navigate very quickly. Take your time, structure it right, and you'll see what kind of difference it can make, especially if you come back later and you want to use these objects in a different scene. It'll be super easy and you'll have already done the work. Last but not least, I want you to try building a character. This is pretty ambitious if you're just starting out, and it can seem pretty intimidating if you see all the crazy detailed artwork online that looks super good, but just go ahead and ignore that for now. The reason that this is such a good practice is because organic modeling like this is a completely different animal than modeling things like pipes or wine glasses. It really forces you to look at your topology and your edge flow in a different way. And by taking the time to learn more about these things and how your vertices and components connect and how that influences the flow of your mesh, will make you better at anything you model. So even if your goal is to become just a hard surface modeler, and all you want to do is make mechanical parts, building a character can actually help you become better at that because it'll give you a different perspective or new ways of approaching a problem that you may not have thought about before. You'll find that you might be able to make more complex shapes that you've previously struggled with. I've said this for everything so far, but I'm going to say it again. Proportions here are key. You can get a pretty surprisingly anatomically correct character with very little geometry just based on where your vertices are and how they're connected. So detail is less about how many vertices you have and more about where they're placed. Now this is likely the most challenging of the three, so use a tutorial if you need to, but don't try to overcomplicate things. Just start with a cube and extrude some legs and some arms and a head and go from there. If it starts to get too messy, start over from scratch and try a different approach. While of course the goal here is to make it look good, I'd much rather you have a finished but awkward looking character than not make one at all just because it's challenging. And one last note, please for the love of God, don't use MakeHuman or one of these other character generators. While they're definitely good in some circumstances, like if you have an environment and you're just trying to quickly fill it in, or your focus is on vehicle modeling and you need something to stick in there, then that's fine. But if your goal is to become a good modeler, just make it yourself. You're not going to learn the things that you need to know by starting with something that's already had all of the difficult decisions made for you. Saving time is always good, of course, but sometimes taking the long route the first time can help you save much more time in the long run. So give it a shot, keep it simple, and you'll learn a lot. So regardless of your skill level, I hope you give these 3 challenges a try and learn something new along the way. If it seems like it's a bit too much to shoot for just yet, come check out our beginner-friendly courses on cgcookie.com. From Introduction to Blender to Mesh Modeling Bootcamp and Character Modeling and so much more, we'll take you through all of the difficult things and show you how to problem solve through those so that you can have a well-earned confidence in your skills. Now I'll put a link to those courses in the description below, and be sure to subscribe for more videos. Happy modeling! That sounds like you. A kitchen could be dang it, a perfect next step.